Did you know that there are an estimated 20,000 people living on the streets in cars or in motels?
Wow, no I did not. Hi, my name is Haley.
My name is Isabella.
And my name's Carly.
We are with Macon County FCCLA. We are teaming up with FCCLA to do a chapter service project portfolio. It is concerning to us that 29% of homeless individuals are women and that 45% of them are unsheltered. We are also concerned that the main cause of homelessness is addiction, mental illness, and domestic abuse. 1 in 3 women say that domestic abuse is their reason for being homeless. Another concern is that Nashville's homeless population has grown so much that overflow shelters are now needed. We set a goal to collect at least 100 items for the women's homeless shelter in Nashville. We also wanted to inform our community about the homeless population and to become more involved in our community. After setting our goals, we formed a plan. We plan to take up donations for the women's overflow shelter, contact businesses about setting up drop-off locations, and see if they wanted to donate unsold magazines, and we set a date to take up donations at our school, in our school's basketball game. We last planned to interview a teacher who volunteers at the women's shelter. Next, we put our plans into action.
Here is our act, which we will address in more detail throughout our project. As you can see, this is our evidence of online project summary submission.
We identify concerns by addressing special needs, such as Tennessee having an estimated 7,647 people experiencing homelessness on any day, the U.S. Department of Education for the 2018 through 19 school year having an estimated 17,766 public school students experiencing homelessness, and Nashville officials located 2,300 homeless people and estimates another 20,000 living on streets, in cars, or in motels. We also interviewed our teacher, Shauna Porter, who volunteers at a women's overflow shelter in Nashville.
The Women's Overflow Shelter is our target audience because Ms. Porter was talking about volunteering there and all of the items that they are in need of. We knew we could help them through our FCCLA chapter. The goals we set included collecting at least 100 items for the shelter, making our community aware of the growing number of homeless people, and to become more involved in our community.
Our project reflects the 2nd, 4th, and 7th purposes of FCCLA. We are reflecting the second purpose of FCCLA by strengthening the function of family as a basic unit of society, gain a stronger relationship with their families, get back on their feet, and have a family of their own. The 4th purpose of FCCLA is reflected by engaging individual group involvement and global cooperation and harmony, by encouraging our members to help with this organization with its needs. Lastly, the 7th purpose of FCCLA to prepare the multiple roles of men and women in today's society is associated as well by helping prepare the women for their future in the shelter.
This relates to the Family and Consumer Sciences standard with the standard 1.3.4, analyze community resources and systems of formal and informal support to individuals and families. Introduction to Human Studies has a standard that covers Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It is standard 1 under human needs. These women have to meet certain needs before they can work their way up to a normal lifestyle in today's society. Lifespan and Development has a standard called Family Stress, Crisis, and Resilience, which talks about the impact of poverty and is also a Family and Consumer Sciences standard that relates to the women's shelter and our project.
The scope of our plan was to involve multiple partners such as the Women's Overflow Shelter, Colleen's Bakery, City Council member Brian Nichols, and our school's basketball team. Our task is to inform our community to obtain donations and distribute them to the shelter. We'll use social media and our school app to spread our message. The fact that we took up donations for an overflow shelter made it unique. They had to create this overflow shelter because of the increased number of homeless people. We had several barriers in our project, some related to the global pandemic, such as we contacted Pelican Snowballs to be a drop-off location. They first agreed, but then had to cancel due to closing early for the winter. This is when we decided to contact Colleen's Bakery. We also had to cancel our collection at our local basketball game due to TSSAA guidelines. Our plan was then pushed back.
On October 27th, we met with our FCCLA advisor to get started on our STAR event. On November 3rd, 2020, we met with owner of Pelicans, Jason Roberts, about being a drop-off location and offering incentives. On November 4th, 2020, we met with the owner of Colleen's Bakery, Colleen McLeod, about being a drop-off location and offering incentives as well. On November 11th, 2020, we had our first FCCLA meeting, and I, Haley Holder, chapter officer, informed our chapter members about our community service project. December 10th, 2020, we met with Ms. Porter to interview her about the donations and the women's shelter.
We planned our project carefully and efficiently. We made sure to have 3 drop-off locations and backups. We also asked multiple stores in our community if they would like to donate their magazines. However, they informed us they had already given them to someone. One barrier we had to organize activities around was COVID-19. COVID made it challenging with having to social distance and people getting quarantined. We also had to be careful with taking up donations because we did not want to further spread the disease.
We partnered with the Overflow Women's Shelter in Nashville by reaching out and seeing what they were in need of. We also partnered with Colleen's Bakery, who offered treats to those who dropped off donations at her local shop. We contacted Brian Nichols who offered to use his place of employment as a drop-off location. Our school basketball teams partnered with us to take up donations at our Smith County game on January 22nd, but due to TSSAA guidelines, this had to be canceled.
Our work plan consisted of asking our local businesses if they would like to donate magazines. We introduced the project to FCCLA members in our chapter meeting on November 11th. We called Colleen's Bakery and asked if they would like to be a drop-off location, and they agreed. They immediately started taking action by donating at Colleen's Bakery and here at Macon County High School. We again reminded them of our project on our meeting on December 9th and told them the items we have and the ones we are in need of.
Our timeline is as proceeding. Our first meeting with our FCCI advisor was October 27th to tell her about our topic and form a game plan. On November 11th, we handed out a newsletter to the members of our chapter and informed them of our project and the circumstances these women were in. November 7th, we called Pelicans and Colleen's Bakery and asked if they were willing to be a drop-off location. Pelicans then had to close early and kindly declined. On November 11th, we called Dollar General and Piggly Wiggly concerning their magazines and if they were willing to donate them. A newsletter went out on November 12th informing the online community about our project. Donations were taken up at Colleen's Bakery on the 13th through 14th of November. December 10th, we sent Ms. Porter our interview questions. On December 15th, we finished up taking donations at the school. On January 22nd, we plan to take up donations at a basketball game, but this has been canceled.
Some activities, tasks, and roles are as follows. At one of our meetings, one of our FCCLA officers told everyone at the meeting about the donations for the Women's Homeless Shelter. We posted about the donation box locations on our school Facebook page and county app. We plan to team up with the Smith County High School basketball team to get them to bring donations. We made calls to local businesses to be drop-off locations.
Due to COVID-19 restrictions, we could not take up any monetary fundraising. Thankfully, our community was awesome about donating items, and Ms. Porter donated her time and gas in transporting donations to the shelter.
To increase awareness and public relations, we asked Brian Nichols to help us spread the word about our project. We used several forms of social media to spread awareness about our project and formed several different sources. Our school administrator, Dr. Ben Johnson, made an announcement over the intercom each day about the donations we needed. We had an article in our local newspaper about our weekend drop-off at Colleen's Bakery. Information also went out on our county school app.
Our project had a great impact. We exceeded our goal by triple the amount. We collected over 300 items for the Overflow Shelter. Our teacher, Ms. Porter, who dropped off our donations, stated a lot of the clothes would be great for the women to wear to job and work interviews.
We got the youth involved and recruited volunteers. We got our peers to help with this by spreading the word by bringing in items. This includes all freshmen through seniors and students in our CDC classes. We also got people in our community to volunteer by posting about it on their social media. We asked local businesses to help in search of our drop-off locations.
This project is unique because it is the first year it has been done at our school by our chapter. It is for an overflow women's shelter, not a normal shelter. And also, instead of buying things, we ask for donations only.
To conclude our presentation is the evaluation and follow-up. Going into this project, we thought that the leading cause for homelessness was drug abuse, but in the end, domestic violence was the largest contributor. We found out that a faculty member was really involved with the Women's Overflow Shelter and asked if we could help her collecting donations. One of our strategies was to have Pelican Snowballs as a drop-off location, but they decided to close up for the winter, leaving us to come up with another strategy. We asked the owner of Macon Iron to use his business as a drop-off location, as well as Colleen's Bakeries. We also made sure to write thank you letters to businesses and people that helped with our project. This concludes our community service project. Remember to get involved with your community and team up with FCCLA.
What is one skill that you learned or improved upon during your project that you will use in school next year or your future career?
One skill that we improved upon is our communication skills. This helped us by having formal conversations with our local business leaders and to further our cause for these women.
What obstacles caused challenges in your work and how did you address them?
Due to COVID-19, there were many obstacles and setbacks, but through strategy and teamwork, we were able to persevere with our project.